Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 15. Respass, episode 15, am I right?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, there we go. Welcome to episode 15 of Apron Work Podcast with Chill Boys, Respass, Peach, and Walton. Cheer. Respass, how you doing today, bud?
I am fantastic and exhausted.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Peach, how you feeling?
You.
No problem.
Another beautiful Father's Day in the city of brotherly love.
Yes, happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers that are listening. I have no other jokes to go with. I forget what we were going to say for it.
And soon to be stepfathers right here.
Yeah.
And fathers of dogs and Peachy. And
Walton's just going to start the episode.
You're the father of the podcast, Walt.
Sure. Thank you for giving me this. Well, I don't want to be the father of this because this is like an abused child then because of how battered it is. No, happy Father's Day out there.
Abused children needs love too, Walt.
We try.
That was insensitive.
So just a little bit of a warning for the people listening this week. We are recording this on Sunday night, and all three of us have Money in the Bank in our background kind of watching it. Currently is the Reigns Jinder Mahal match, so we got a good 20 minutes of we don't really have to pay attention. The only thing, like I said, before we started, is I would love to just hear the crowd because I love when Chicago shits on Roman Reigns. It's the best thing ever. But so if you hear us randomly yell or start talking about something, that's what is going on. But before we get into this week's topic, Mike, you want to talk about what you did yesterday, or Respass? Not Mike because you're both named Mike.
No.
No, you don't want to. All right, we're
I'm kidding. Yeah, I was at Stone and Key Cellars Winery in Montgomeryville for We Podcast and We Know Things episode, which is awesome. Everybody should go check it out. It's all nerd pop culture stuff. This episode was actually at Stone and Key Cellar Winery for a live episode. They talked mostly about Stone and Key Cellars. It was nice. You know, they had a lot of guests. And then, to keep with their nerd theme, they ended it with Money in the Bank predictions, which I was happily a part of. They requested me there because clearly I'm the most awesome one of the three. But now I got to give my predictions live other than just, posting them like we did for the week. So it was a lot of fun. I will call him out on air right now since I didn't do it there. But Peachy will be missing 2 episodes soon, and Greg Hall from We Podcast and We Know Things better be one of our 2 surprise guests for those weeks. I'm calling him out now. I'm saying your name. You have to do it now.
Yeah, and listen, I from watching the podcast, I was there to support Mike on the podcast and to support those guys. But I would like to have Greg on so I can learn how to host a podcast. Because he's very good at it compared to me.
Walt, you're not too shabby yourself.
Oh, thanks, bud. But the one thing don't think it's mentioned so much, but in the entertainment industry, wrestling is considered a fine wine because of how
Exactly. That was the crossover there. That was the.
It gets better with age.
Yeah, it gets better with age.
They talk video games, movies, bands.
There's been
TV
wrestling
shows.
movies, wrestling video games, wrestling
exactly.
TV shows.
It all comes together.
Bouche.
It's the what?
I don't know. French wine. Isn't that a French word?
I don't know.
It sounded French.
Yeah. I took 2 years of French where I cheated.
I took no years of French. That's why I said amuse bouche.
I got caught cheating, so it's fine. I have a red. I got a red mark in Kildy's book. No, but yeah, We Podcast and We Know Things. Is that their website? I forget what the...
Yes, it's We Podcast and We Know Things.com. They're on Stitcher, Castbox, which they lovingly told me yesterday that we are actually on Castbox too. So I said add that. Apparently,
Nice.
if you're on iTunes, you're also on Castbox. So it's nice to know we're out there on a platform that I'm not promoting.
Yep.
You know, We Pod 'em We Know is Instagram, or not Instagram, Twitter tag. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. Check them out. They're two awesome guys, Sam Maturo and Greg Hall. I love listening to their show, and I will continue to listen to their show. But it was awesome to be there, and you should check it out.
Yeah, it was awesome for them to invite you on. You sounded good on it from what I've listened to so far. I still got about maybe like 20 minutes left in the episode. But the wine part of it was pretty fascinating because I don't drink wine at all. I get drunk on other stuff.
And now you will never drink it because now you know how it's made, and you just
it's
you
like
just don't want it now.
It's like hot dogs. You don't want to know how they're made. See, Peach, I tied it into what you were eating earlier.
Wine and hot dogs.
It's the dream. It's the dream. So, speaking of Peachy, that is going to be the topic of this week's episode because
hot dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs. What's your favorite wrestling-related hot dog? No, but
Quit worrying about Batista's physique, Walt.
Listen, anybody that listens to this is an avid wrestling fan, and they all want to know how big Batista's dick is. All right, it's just a common thing. Everybody knows it.
Guys, they're doing apron work.
I know.
I'm behind you, so they're not doing apron work yet.
But with the fact that we wanted to watch Money in the Bank, but we knew we were going to be recording this just because of timing, we decided to do a Peach's Pit episode. The Peach Pit. Is that what we officially called it?
Yes, the Peach Pit.
The Peach Pit.
This is why Greg Hall's a better host than you.
Exactly, and I said I need to learn stuff. But no, Peach Pit, to where we kind of handed over to Peachy this week and have him ask, as a quote-unquote casual, I won't call you filthy, but as a casual, what kind of questions do you have that come up through your watching and things like that you want the opinion of more seasoned vets, we'll say?
No, I get to ask whatever I want.
Oh, okay.
Concerning wrestling.
Yeah, concerning wrestling.
Whoa. When do we change the rules?
Podcast.
Yeah. If
we
you
can't help you on other questions.
Yeah. I can barely help myself on other questions.
Do we need to pause this and give you more time, Peach?
No.
Nah, he said he was prepared. He was prepared this week. So, Peach, what do you got for? Let's start it off. Let's start off with a good one. So hand it over to you.
All right. So tonight is the Money in the Bank ladders match. Is there any other type of match, like a gimmick match, that you would think of that the WWE could implement? Like, not just like TLC, but would there be like a certain weapon or a certain gimmick to a match that you would like to see?
I don't know. There are the very generic, like when they do the weapons, just a weapon on a pole match or whatever. Singapore on a pole. Hell, there was Pepper on a pole match. Al Snow's dead dog, I think. Yeah. That's not a joke. Al Snow, Big Boss Man. That rivalry had some weird, because then there was the the kennel match or the Kennel of Hell match, where it was a steel cage wrapped inside a Hell in a Cell match with guard dogs on the outside, and the dogs basically just pissed. Do you remember that?
Barked the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing how off topic you just got by thinking about Al Snow and Big Boss Man. I know, but he's just he's just, I could just see it and thinking oh my god.
Well, it answers the question. I think.
Know. I know it does.
Yeah, you're just trying to be mean. That's my job.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go the obvious route, so don't. So I can go the obvious route.
What's the obvious route?
War games. They did it in NXT. Yeah. WWE didn't do it.
I'm glad.
I feel like most people want it. The concept of it is awesome. Peach, I'm assuming you know War Games. If you do
that's
not,
the tournament.
Now what happens is you have two rings. There's a cage around both rings. And then the way WCW used to do it, they did it in NXT. The way WCW used to do it is it would basically be 2 teams of 5, I believe. Is that right, Walt?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 5.
And then 2 guys would start, and it would almost be randomly like who was coming out. And if I remember right, they used to do like, it would be like Team A and then Team B, Team B, Team A, like Team A. So it would always be like 3, 3 on 2, 3 on 3, then 4 on 3. It would kind of go back and forth.
So real fast, I'm sorry.
It was always pretty cool.
I'm sorry. I'm watching. It's Reigns Gender. They're doing the wave. Chicago's doing the wave during this match. Chicago.
I think it meant Reigns and Jinder was doing the wave in the ring.
Well, they might join in soon.
If Chicago, if anybody's listening
I
from Chicago, please, thank you, thank you for doing that.
Thanks for the spoilers, Walt.
Yeah, well,
5 second ahead spoilers.
Yeah. War Games. I'm glad War Games is
Games.
an NXT, but because I think again, it's one of those things where WWE, I think on the main roster would mess it up.
Well, I always thought, I know for the longest time there have been rumors about them wanting to rid themselves of Survivor Series. And I feel like that match was always a match that you could keep the essence of what Survivor Series is and update it,
Right. Do you think that WWE would mess it up like for the fans or mess it up like how the match is run?
They would mess it up how the matches run, and it would so the War Games match in NXT was, I don't want to say perfect, but it was a great reintroduction to it. It was brutal. It was there was a lot going on. Alexander Wolf basically was bleeding out in the middle of the one ring. Killian Dane was an all-star in that match, and they just it worked so well, I thought, with the way how NXT goes. On the main roster, I don't think you're going to get that brutality. I don't think you're going to get the level that it needs to go to for the match to be successful.
Because you lose seating and everything, right? You lose fans.
A little bit. Probably not consequentially anything.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you in that sense, Walt, though. Especially, it's one of those things that Survivor Series has been so painful because it's hard. If it's not Raw against SmackDown, it's hard to get 4 or 5 guys who are all on the same page because now everybody is half good, half bad. They feuded 17 times in the past. At WCW, you kind of always had the Horsemen. You had a lot of solid teams that were usually solid. You were either good or bad.
Yeah, you could easily do Horsemen versus NWO.
But even prior to that, because War Games was going on for a long time, wrestling was so clear cut, good guy, bad guy, that it was just easy. You were either a heel or a face. And you were a face, you were on the face team. And wrestling nowadays is not that same caliber, and I believe that's why in NXT they had to make it a 3-way tag team, like a 3-man, 3-on-3, 3-on-3, instead of a 2-team match, because it's tough, and like you said, it couldn't be brutal. How could it? Everything's so I want it now and not long term that it wouldn't mean as much. Plus, Ric Flair's the only guy that would cut his face open on the cage.
Jinder's bleeding right now.
See? He could do that in a cage. 2 of them.
Maybe more so than to go, but yeah, I can't think of are there any other new stipulations that a match that I want? I don't know.
What could you do in a ring to just kind of throw a curveball?
You could put live ammunition and guns hanging.
Just have them shoot each other?
Yes, that would be a curveball. Yeah,
you're right. That's a fact.
Roman just going a shooting spree in the audience.
It gives shooting from the hip a new meaning. For the wrestling fans out there, they got that one. I really don't know. You have some, again, I was saying, on the pole match to where, any type of weapon, they did the pink slip on the pole match, I think, with, Mankind or something, that he got fired, or I forget what the hell else it was, but yeah, those are, the easy outs, I can't think of anything else, really.
like I remember the strap match. Like I always liked that where the two guys were strapped together.
I hate it. I don't really like those.
There was no running though, hiding.
Sadly, I'm going to agree with PG. I enjoyed them. Like what was the other one? It was like the Texas rope on the Texas bull rope match or whatever. I always loved that because you had to drag the guy to each. You had to touch
each corner,
corner consecutively.
So you had to beat them down bad enough to be able to drag them, and then also not be tired enough to actually drag them across. And usually guys sold that very well in those matches. So I would agree. I kind of miss those ones.
Yeah, it's just they don't stick out to me. I find the touching the four corners thing just generally dumb.
I think when they added the lights
Texas
one,
the Texas rope was the four corner one. The strap was just like a regular match that you couldn't get away from each other.
I think they've done the strap in both settings.
Yeah.
But I think I remember one of the last times they did it, they added some lights or something to the corners, or they had like a little thing at the bottom showing how many they hit.
They could easily do that now with the new like LED.
I think they did. I forget which.
I thought it was too cartoony when they were doing it the one time now.
Yeah. Is there anything that you could think of, Peach, with that question that you asked us? Anything from your side that you could think of would be cool to have? Actually, so you know what? I take this back, and it's something I really wish they would get back into. Intergender.
Do you think they will get the intergender?
I think they're getting close. I really do. With this, like,
Ronda
against Triple H. Like, I think you are starting to get close, and I think that would be fun to have as a gimmick. Samir Singh almost looked like he hit his head against his wheelchair by accident.
He didn't. Spear again.
Yeah, but intergender, I think that would be great, and not like And here's the thing: I really enjoyed like the mixed match challenge that they did on LOL Reigns Wins. I really like the mixed match challenge stuff they did on Facebook. But it was annoying because like when the women would fight the women, men would fight the men. Like I think it'd be really cool if they can really get into the intergender. With Ronda, I think it opens it up to that you start one match there, and then even like Candice LeRae in NXT with Johnny Gargano, that's setting up for intergender. Has to be. Because she was used at that.
Intergender tag.
Yes, intergender tag.
Okay.
Even intergender regular. When Chyna was wrestling, and her and Jericho had a good feud. Her and Jeff Jarrett had a good feud. That would be maybe if one gimmick to come kind of back in. But sorry, Peach, I cut you off as I was asking you the question. But what is there anything that you could think of that you would want to have back or see in there?
No, like I would want to see some kind of new gimmick, something rather than the same matches, something Iron Man matches in WWE or
Are you saying we completely got your question wrong? You were asking if it's something new, not necessarily something that's been done before.
Well, yeah, I was saying something, but like a gimmick that you would like to see in the ring, not so much new. Like I was trying to think something new, something
I couldn't think. I can't think of anything new, so that's why I related to a lot of the older stuff that we don't see anymore, really.
Because, like, do you think they'll get into hardcore stuff again, or do you think that
not the way we're past that? Not the way it used to be. For some of the right reasons, it's it is too dangerous, especially with concussions and things like that, and it's hard to half-ass it.
Right.
So, nice. That was a great first question, Peach. I am proud of you for that. Let's follow it up with another hot one, another good one. Let's make this one good.
So, like, getting to like towards the hardcore stuff. Do you think that any other championship could be 24/7 rule?
I don't know, man. I want one so bad.
Do you think like any championship could go that way? Any belt?
Like them creating a new one called like the 24/7 belt or something like that.
No, I mean like not Intercontinental or World Champion. Like, do you think I don't know, the British Championship, the one that are just bringing back, if they would put a 24/7 rule on it?
They won't do that for those titles because you can't really, like, you would need a hardcore title to come back.
You think you'd need to do hardcore?
You would have to, because if the only way, like, unless somehow the people travel with a ring with them at all times.
Yeah, or you would have to, like I said, call a title the 20, without calling it the hardcore title, calling it the 24/7 title or Falls Count Anywhere title or something like that. Like, it would almost have to have a gimmicky name to go along with it if it's not the hardcore title. So,
I think it'd be kind of cool if they brought back, like, and I thought that's what they were going to do with the North American title in NXT. I thought they were going to bring back like a TV title, and I think that would be cool. That it very similar to like the Open challenges that they do it seems like, or like Cena did with the U.S. Open. I think Rollins and people do it now and then, but like you bring back the TV title and it just defended every week on TV. It's not on pay-per-views.
The Twitch title.
I was gonna say social media title.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like something like that. Like I wouldn't want to call it that. Like I think the TV title would be the kind of easiest name to do it, because it's like I don't want to do the streaming platforms title. Like
the media title.
The internet title.
Zack Ryder's already the champion.
The WWE Network title.
That would be terrible if that actually happened.
You have to watch the WWE Network 24/7 just in case.
But
or they set out a thing on Twitter saying, "Hey, go on now. Match is happening in 5."
Or not even that. Like that's where it comes into where you're watching imagine if you're just watching the network and it breaks in with a title match. I think that is so freaking cool. And then you have it on the network, and then you just throw it on Facebook and the Twitters and all that stuff as live. Sorry, the Twitters. That's my age coming out in me.
That made you sound really old.
Yeah, I know.
That's why you're the father of the podcast.
Oh, thank you. What about you, Mike? What are your thoughts?
I think I said it.
I don't remember. Sorry, I was too focused on myself.
Now, the question was, do we think they'll ever attach it to it? I don't believe so, but goddamn, would it be? It would be awesome. They're so set up for it right now, with the way that social media is now, and their network and everything like that. Like, I could just see them breaking in like Raw and not even showing it on Raw, and being like during a match, like, check out the WWE Network real quick. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure USA would not be thrilled with that, but I could see them. There's so many possibilities for it.
Yeah,
but because that would have to almost be defended in a hardcore style. Now, maybe you find a way around it and say Falls Count Anywhere, but it can't be hardcore. But I think then you start making the title too confusing.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's where like the 24/7 is the closest. Like I said, I like the idea of like a TV title where it just gets defended every week on TV, and it's not on the pay-per-views or anything like that. That'd be pretty cool. Peach, your thoughts?
I don't know if they would do it, like if they could do that, but I would like to see something like the 24/7 brought back, and with the social media and everything being what it is now, that even they all travel together, they're always together, city to city, the ring's set up, they can go into an empty stadium and have a match. Like if a good guy wants to do it and calls him out, hey, I want you here at noon, and noon on Monday, we want to hash this out before Raw. I don't know. I think it would add
I like
more
that
to a
concept
story.
of trying to take care of business before work. Like these guys work are, they go to Raw, and it's like, oh, we have to take care of something. Let's knock it out in the morning, so that way I'm at work on time.
Right, but I think it adds to the story.
Oh, it definitely does. Like I remember the hardcore title when like Crash was running it. They fucking they wrestled in a Chuck E. Cheese or like a ball pit against the was it not the Headbangers? Or is that what Mosh and Thrash, was that their name? Tag team name?
Wow, why is that?
Yeah, but Mosh and Thrash, I think it's the Headbangers. Like I remember them in the ball pit. Like Crash's like hotel room was always getting, like they were jumping in. Yeah, you're right. Like we're set up perfectly for it now, and it would be awesome if they could do something.
But even for like the smaller like house show type things, like you could set something up in the hotels that they go into and say, hey, at X, 5-10 minutes at this hotel, there's a ring set up.
Yeah, the only problem is they wouldn't make money off of it.
Yeah, and then just suddenly, anytime there's a WWE show, you got people hanging around for way too long at certain areas. Like, oh my God, they did it in the hotel last time. Let's stand here. We're not at this hotel. We don't have tickets to the show. Let's just wait here.
Yeah.
True.
So, again, second decent question. I'll give you that one. I'll give you 2 in a row. Let's
right.
Can we make it 3? Can we make it 3?
No.
No,
Probably
yeah,
not.
no.
All right, so because this show is in Chicago right now, and one of the cities that this term lists, what do you guys think of when you hear Bizarro World?
Comic books?
That's one of the terms, the WWE terms.
I forgot to. Some of the feedback I've been receiving is after, if we're doing something physically to explain it to you guys so that you know what's going on. I'm just shaking my head looking down at the confusion. So I was right. We only had 2 good questions in a row. Bizarro World. Here's where I think they're getting at. So this is probably the answer to your question. Bizarro World is the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, to where the fans cheer for the bad guys and boo the good guys, and it's crazy and we're all having fun type of stuff. Is that what it is?
Well, it's not just after the Raw. It's just when the crowd behaves the opposite way, and it mentions Chicago and Philadelphia.
Well, yeah. Well, so those are your big wrestling cities. Like so, Philly, New York, Chicago. Where else? There's
Canada.
Not Canada. Yeah. The Montreal. They're really good, just because they know they're going to get a screw job at some point. But yeah, you always get those in the marquee places.
Do you like when the crowd does that?
I do, just because the crowd's having fun, and I think that overall makes the show better. I know like some of the wrestlers hate it, just because it can be annoying. Like especially like Roman Reigns is a perfect example. Like he gets booed wherever he is, and like it's hard now to write any type of story for Roman Reigns because how the crowd is going to react regardless. But being in those crowds and like watching that, like being as part of it, it's so much fun when the crowd is into it and they don't care. It's like the Raw after Mania when we were there. That was so much fun.
Beach Ball Mania?
Beach Ball Mania.
So I guess I'll include mine here. I guess we'll talk about it since Walton just said what it was. I agree with him. I feel like there's sometimes it depends on what exactly they're talking about, because there's sometimes when it happens organically, which I feel like in Philly it's happening organically. People like who they like, they hate who they hate. They're going to cheer regardless if they're supposed to cheer for them. They're going to boo regardless if they're supposed to boo for them. I enjoy that. There are certain times, and I'm as much as I love watching NXT, I'm going to call out the NXT, the Full Sail. I can't stand when they cheer for both guys. I can't stand it.
Why?
I can't stand it. I don't know. It always bothered me about TNA. It always bothered me about it. I understand when it's a really good match, you want to cheer for both guys. I get it. I get that part of it. But, man, you have like a filler match of two tag teams that are never going to be nothing on a show, and they're cheering both sides. Like, come on, man. I don't know. I feel like certain people are literally cheering for the other people to cheer for them, and it's not an organic cheer. It's not like, I think people are annoyed with Roman Reigns. That's why they boo him. They're not booing. I'd say a good amount of people in Philly and in the big cities, they're booing them for a reason. Not because, I know a lot of people like to say, oh, it's the cool thing to do. I think they're booing them for a reason. They're booing WWE because of the way they're using them. I feel like NXT's crowd, they're doing it to sound cool.
Well, full sale, they just want to be part of the show. That's just a known fact.
I've always had the issue with TNA, when TNA used to do it all the time. Didn't matter who it was, good guy, bad guy, they always cheered both ends. And then that whole both these guys chant, worst chant. Oh my god. It's like, what was Jim Ross? Jim Ross at the show in WrestleMania in Dallas, where he was making fun of the crowd, saying, this is awesome. Like, he was like, I can't believe he's do that for every single match. Like, that's what I feel when I hear both these guys. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Like, just stop. Stop trying to be the cool kids in this scenario.
But here's a perfect example of where this just happened. Last night, Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. They were chanting for both those guys that entire match.
I said there's times that are understandable. I'm not saying every time it's done.
Oh, you gave me the angry eyes there. Ooh, shit. Sorry. I'm bad.
Just saying, I'm not saying every time it's done. But when it happens every single match, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, Mike, you talking about heat like that?
Dropping insider terms there, Peach. You really
well,
do
not
have.
like
You do have the glossary in front of you.
Roman getting booed everywhere he's at. Like, is that now his gimmick? Is just being the heat person?
Yes.
Like, just
that's
what they want.
This is a nice tie-in, Peach, and I don't think you've listened to the episode, but I actually discussed this a little bit on We Podcast and We Know Things bonus episode from yesterday. We talk about Roman Reigns, and actually Greg Hall, the host, he yelled at me and threatened to end the show when I said I don't hate Roman Reigns. It's his gimmick. It's not even his gimmick. It's the way they book him.
Yeah.
It's the way they book him. You know the difference between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns? First of all, Roman Reigns is a better wrestler. I don't care what anybody says. Roman Reigns is a better wrestler than Braun Strowman. I don't care if people get mad at me for that. He's a better wrestler than Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman has been booked way better than Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
If you flip the way they were booked, people would be booing Braun Strowman and cheering Roman Reigns. But it's the way they booked Roman Reigns that has people mad. It's how they force him down your throat. He literally, spoiler alert for anybody who didn't see it, he just beat Jinder Mahal. He'll get a rematch with Brock Lesnar because he beat Jinder Mahal. Who the hell was Jinder Mahal?
Jinder Mahal, he's a former WWE champion.
Exactly, just like half the roster. He could have came out here and beat Asuka. But they'll use that as a guy who couldn't qualify for the Money in the Bank and needed a match. And now they had a random match, not a number one contenders match, but Roman Reigns will get a title shot at Brock Lesnar because he beat Jinder Mahal. That's why people boo him. It's because of the booking. It's not him.
It's the same
because
thing.
He actually is talented. He got cheered when he was with the Shield. People loved him when he was with the Shield. The original Shield, not this reboot that happened. The original Shield, people loved him. Some of the stuff he did in the ring was awesome. But now he's the cookie cutter 17 Superman punches, the
his
poster
matches,
child.
And this is
that's
where
what annoys people.
When he gets a chance to shine, like when he did his matches with Styles when he was champion, those were good matches. And it's all right. It's because Style can pull a fucking phenomenal match, no pun intended, like with a broom. He could make that quality. But with Reigns, Reigns has to work with him as well. So like those were good matches. But Reigns doesn't get booked like that. You're exactly right. So, and that's when when people are booing Roman Reigns, I would hope it's more so that people are booing the WWE way they're doing Roman Reigns and not actually Reigns himself. It's the same thing with Cena. We boo Cena. Nobody in their right mind actually hates Cena because of all the freaking good he does generally for the world. But it's just it's the same shit, different day. And to tie it into your Bizarro World question, you see those boos really come to fruition in your major cities, Chicago, Philly, the Raw after Mania, to where it's all the smart wrestling fans.
I'm actually surprised, and this might sound weird, that in Philly, Chicago, the big cities, that they haven't started cheering Cena. Like full, all out, 100% cheering Cena.
Well,
just to go bizarre.
Yeah, like just to be dicks. Like, oh, you kind of boo him in these other cities? Well, guess what? We're gonna start cheering him. Like he's gonna come out and do some really basic move and just start all out cheering him for like a wrist lock.
Wasn't it?
But then when he does a big move, don't cheer him.
Did the Philly start the John Cena sucks thing? John Cena sucks.
No, not Philly. I forget where that started.
I thought it was here that the
New Day sucks. We Philly started New Day sucks.
I thought it was Money in the Bank when he wrestled Mark Henry. That was loud as hell here. That was loud as hell. I don't know.
We did it here, but it was this was not the first place that it was done. I remember the one place where I think it's, at least from my knowledge, got over is the 10 chant for Ty Dillinger. That was never really a thing I remember seeing with Ty Dillinger on TV, and then they did the first round of NXT Travel and the first show, and in the middle of the match, everyone started chanting for Dillinger because they kept on because he was the perfect 10 and just emphasizing the 10 and just kept counting it. And I feel like that actually organically started in Philly, and they ran with it kind of from there. But not a too bad. Peach, what's your thoughts? I don't think we got that. What's your thoughts on Bizarro World?
Oh, I was just bringing up one of the things you were talking about, like the all the wrestling terms that I don't know, so I figured I'd bring one in.
Oh, okay.
What's your wrestling term?
So what's your thoughts on dictionaries? Let's say then, if we're just looking up.
Well, I use the Merriam-Webster the most, so.
Oh
man, it's one of those episodes.
I could still be sleeping.
Yeah, I could go to sleep early too. Do you have any other questions other than let's? Do you have something else other than your list of words, your wrestling word a day calendar, if you must?
Oh wow!
What?
I'll just kick the air.
Oh well.
She learned.
Fell.
Well, she learned from Aleister Black.
Asuka sold it just as well as Lars Sullivan now. Oh, by the way, NXT happened last night.
Oh God!
Before we get to the next one,
you want to talk about that for a couple minutes?
We've been talking about Omega and Okada recently. We had the episode not that long ago, and we suggested whether you're a wrestling fan, huge wrestling fan, casual fan, watch those matches. Watch NXT from last night. Watch it from beginning to end. There was not a moment that I felt like I wanted to get up and pee. The women's match was slightly underwhelming, depending on who you thought you wanted to win that match. But storyline purposes, from a champion standpoint, it made sense. That card overall was awesome. The tag team match, the Undisputed Era against Oney Lorcan and
Danny Burch.
Danny Burch, thank you. That was amazing. I expected very little out of that match. Lars Sullivan.
Oh my God!
Black.
It's happening! It's happening! Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh, Mike. Spoilers! Spoilers!
Yeah,
it's happening!
It's
happening!
Man!
Yeah. It is currently Carmela versus Asuka, and for the SmackDown Women's title, and there was rumors about somebody possibly returning, and they haven't revealed themselves yet, but I'm hoping
they're wearing the kabuki mask.
Yeah, they're wearing basically Asuka's outfit, and you cannot see their face, and Asuka's very, very confused right now.
Oh, roll up.
That's what I'm assuming. Hold on. Yep, roll up. Oh, wait. Carmella, no, she didn't. Oh, what the heck? Yeah, this is... but no, so Mike's point about NXT. Sorry, I got very excited. I'm going to get...
reveal.
It's fine.
Reveal.
I'm going to get... Hold on. Oh, man, the reveal is coming. Yes! James Ellsworth is back. Oh, my God, I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
This was also something I made reference to yesterday at We Podcast We Know Things. I did not name James Ellsworth. I said a guy or a girl.
That was not... well, I think you could say the same about James Ellsworth either way.
Yeah. And they, Greg actually kind of talked about a guy with no chin. So if you know wrestling, you knew who he was talking about. But
I'll say this, wonderful. And like this, just to talk about this since we're watching it live, James Ellsworth, I thought, did a phenomenal job as a manager for Carmella. I loved the whole dichotomy shift of not female with a male. For the manager, I like the male with the female.
I agree.
Yeah, I loved it. I think James Ellsworth is gold. His whole feud with Styles was great too. Oh my God, look at that chin. Oh my God, it's great.
I'm happy it happened. That was a perfect way to do it too, with that just randomly coming out, having him dressed up that way.
I'm a little upset at the ending though. Like, no way should that kick take out Asuka.
She's unbeatable.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't expecting it.
But still.
It's the whole caught you off guard type of thing.
I know, still, though. She should have won with a roll-up.
But the
NXT match, the Gargano Ciampa was probably... I think it was better than their first one. I watched Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. Holy shit. That was probably my favorite match of the night.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream is... I'm nervous for when he gets called up to the main roster because I think he's going to get ruined. I do think he needs to stay down in NXT for a little longer just to kind of perfect some from the wrestling side because the dude's only 22 and he's putting on these amazing matches. The way WWE brought in Ricochet, and I feel like they are treating him like a megastar, and I love it. Not necessarily even with, like, he won last night, Ricochet. I didn't think he needed to win, and I would still say this anyway. Just the way his entrance, the whole presentation around him just makes him feel like a much bigger star than what I expected WWE to do with him when he came in. But I watched, so of NXT, I wasn't able to watch it live last night. So I watched part of it this morning, but those were the two matches I watched. I still have to, from what you were telling me and what I read online, the tag team match was apparently great as well.
Incredible. And I'll continue because I kind of got cut off when the James Ellsworth thing happened. Lars Sullivan, Aleister Black, my expectations were probably lower than the tag team match. Lars Sullivan impressed the hell out of me, and there was one point I actually wanted him to win the title. I know this match will be remembered from Aleister Black's Phantom kick that took out Sullivan and never actually touched him. But take that one moment out of that match. That match was awesome. It was awesome. It put Lars Sullivan over big time. It took a lot to keep him down, so he still has that monster, I can kill anybody. I'm telling you, about halfway through that match, I started almost wanting Lars Sullivan to win because I just wanted to watch him kind of run roughshod over NXT.
Right.
but the show as a whole, Shayna Baszler,
Nikki Cross.
and Nikki Cross was good for what it was. I guess spoilers. Nikki Cross did not win the title, and I know most people wanted that, but she's still down there to help develop Shayna Baszler. That's why she's not up with Sanity. She's there purely to put Shayna Baszler over. It was a good match.
The women's division right now in NXT, it feels like it's weak. It's like the weakest it's ever been. But the reason why I say that too is just because in comparison, the men's side of it has been outstanding these last 6 months, especially when you go from the War Games match to the North American ladder match, Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas, even the Aleister Black Adam Cole match. You then go to the ladder match, then you go to Gargano Ciampa, both of their matches. This has been some of the best. The Gargano Ciampa feud is, in my mind, the best story that WWE has done in years. The only comparison I have to it was the Daniel Bryan storyline from around WrestleMania 30. But I don't want to give that credit because they kind of got their hands forced with it. And they didn't just naturally evolve it out. This story is a culmination of over a year. Especially with Ciampa going out hurt and stuff like that. It just, it is great storytelling. And just for that one, Ciampa won, so now they're 1-1. So, we're getting a rubber match at the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
Especially the way he won.
Yeah.
But I will say the women, it is at its weakest. I also think it's at its most underrated. I have been watching the show weekly. Lacey Evans is impressive. I don't know if you've seen her wrestle. She kind of had a mini feud with Kairi Sane. Those matches were good. I seen her wrestle the first time. You could tell she's improved. Yeah, over the course of her matches.
She is one of the Performance Center success stories.
The EST Bianca Belair, I hated her the first time I watched her wrestle. I couldn't stand that they had her beat Candice LeRae when they wrestled the one time, and she's grown on me. Now they're having her kind of feud with, or at least they kind of set up a feud with her and what's her face, the girl that Shayna Baszler was stalking.
Dakota Kai.
Yeah, Dakota Kai. And Dakota Kai is a nice. She's almost like what Nikki Cross was not that long ago. Almost an afterthought to it, but she's there to build people. And that's what I kind of think she's going to be, that she's going to be there for the heels to pick on and she'll steal a win. But the women's, their names are not there like it was in past. And I think that's where the men...
It's not necessarily the names, it's the stories going around with it as well. Your last kind of couple main feuds where you had Sasha and Bayley, their feud. Or, let's even go a little further. You had basically the four horsewomen to where you had Charlotte running, then you had Sasha win it there, then you had the Sasha Bayley feud. After, when Bayley held the title, she had her own little feud, and then she lost to Asuka. Then you had Asuka's huge reign, and then you had the Asuka kind of Ember Moon feud there, which I feel they tried to kind of replicate what they were doing with Bayley, Sasha, and it didn't go as great. But those were some of the best wrestlers that I've seen it. But now after Asuka gave up the title, Ember Moon lost the title. Now it just doesn't seem like I don't know what's really going on with it, and that's where it's not as been as great.
I think they're just developing characters, which
definitely.
I felt has been nice. Like I said, I enjoy that. The men, I know what I'm getting from most of those guys.
Yep.
The women, I don't know a lot about. I don't know Bianca Belair. They have to come out and talk about her history.
Kairi Sane's really the only one that I only know about.
Yeah. Well, apparently they made reference, and I know I don't want to stick on NXT too long. Peachy's probably got another question, but they apparently made reference that they have signed all four MMA.
Yeah, they did. They did.
For swim, and I did not know that, and they mentioned it when they were Shayna Baszler came out and was talking, and they mentioned how now all 4 of them are signed to contracts, which that the writing's on the wall for that. But
which I'm fine with. I am all on board for that. Those 4 horsewomen versus. Yep, I'm all on board for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for when that eventually happens. But there was one thing I actually seen on Twitter right before TakeOver. I don't know if you've seen this. Drew McIntyre posted it.
What did he say?
And I'll kind of read it off real quick. He wrote, "I suggest the Raw roster checks out NXT TakeOver tonight. Ask yourself if you're working hard enough and truly deserve to be part of the #1 roster in the world. If the answer is no, this show will be a harsh wake-up call of the talent coming for you." And then he put, "If we don't eliminate you first."
Oh, he's not wrong.
No, he's not at all. And you know what? That show delivered. He put.
It's a running joke now to where it's like, oh yeah, NXT is going to be better than Money in the Bank. At this point, it's like, yeah, it's they're 2 different products.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the NXT is delivering what, let's say, like Respass, you and I want. But I'm willing to say, if I were to show like when we do the WrestleMania parties, like kind of more casual fans will come over to watch just because everyone's just kind of hanging out. If you were to show them the NXT show and the WrestleMania show, I would say probably the more casual people would probably like the WrestleMania show. But that's
because you know the names. You don't need a backstory. We don't have to sit here and pause it and say, now this happened the last 7 months.
Yeah. The casual people don't care if like somebody busts out a Canadian destroyer out of nowhere off the top rope.
Yeah.
To where they'll get excited when they see Shinsuke Nakamura kick someone in the nuts. Okay. That's what's going to stick to their head.
This week also, like on social media, Triple H said that he would work with New Japan Pro.
You're getting the quote wrong. Jesus Christ.
Was this your next question, Pete?
Yeah, I was trying to tie it into it, but I'm obviously misquoting something.
Yeah, the quote, I don't know the exact quote, but the question...
Whoa. You don't know the exact quote, and my quote's wrong?
What was said was, the question that was asked was, would you work with... I think the question was specifically, would you work with New Japan? The answer that Triple H gave was, and this was during Triple H's media call before NXT, the answer he said is, we're willing to work with anybody. So he did not specifically say New Japan, but he just said they're opening to work with anybody, which to me is like a no real answer. You see it now, like NXT, like the Adam Cole's fighting at with the North American title at like a Progress show. They have those relations. Do I want to see WWE work with New Japan? Yes. Like,
would it be WWE or NXT?
WWE as a whole. Yeah, you know what? I would rather see WWE.
Do you think New Japan Pro would be easier in an NXT environment?
You could just say New Japan. Yeah, never mind. God, I'm sorry. What was the question? I realized I was trying to correct you.
New Japan Pro would be better in NXT environment instead of like a main roster environment.
Yes, I'll answer that. Yes, but they would never do it.
But those aren't the matches I want to see. I don't want to see those matches in NXT.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think from a pure fan, knowing you're getting the best possible match, it would go to NXT. But WWE is not going to partner with them to bring in guys like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. They want to make money off it. And they're going to make way more money off it if you put them on the WWE main roster. To be honest with you, they're not going to feud with the New Day. If they ever do have some type of cross thing, the New Day is at the bottom of that list unless they're coming there multiple times. They're going to be there and they're going to wrestle the top of WWE's guys. Why? So they can have the top of WWE guys beat them. And say, look, we're superior. But they want to make money off it. It's gonna be a top. It's gonna be SummerSlam or something like that.
So they wouldn't do it as fan service. They wouldn't put them in NXT and put on an awesome match.
Yeah.
Does WWE do anything for the fans? I mean, in all
NXT.
Reality,
NXT is more for the fans.
No,
it's for the fans.
No, that's not for the fans.
That's to sell the network.
It's to run. No, it's not even to sell the network. It's they're making they have to train these guys in the WWE system. They had nowhere to do it, so it's the Performance Center. And then Mike. But then they basically just made NXT a thing because they started to. It got Triple H his experience of running a wrestling organization, so that when McMahon does retire, Triple H is at a point that he can take over, and he already has control of all the aspects of it because he does run NXT. But it's also to to get guys off the streets so they don't go somewhere else, and they can get them in here early enough so they can start training them into the WWE style.
I agree with you, but it absolutely is a moneymaker. It is a way to sell NXT. Or else certain guys who have been in the business for a while that I know not every fan knows, but a lot of fans know, would have went straight to the main roster. If it was purely a training thing. If it was purely training, a guy like Samoa Joe would not have spent so much time in NXT.
In the minor league.
Samoa Joe, no, the only reason Samoa Joe got a contract was because of Triple H, because McMahon didn't want him. And the only reason that McMahon didn't want him was how he was developed in NXT and how, like, the training and stuff that they did down there, how that worked.
And I understand that, but still,
I agree with you. First of all, I do want to say I agree with you.
The network.
It does bother me that Samoa Joe was in NXT before. Like, I thought Samoa Joe was one of the guys that should have just went straight to the main roster.
Yeah, and that's why I used him more than any. Kevin Owens is the other one that I can think of, but I can understand it. Styles with TNA, he jumped right in there. Certain guys, they're probably assuming most casual fans might have seen TNA. They're not going to see, let's say, Nakamura in New Japan. A casual fan might accidentally see AJ Styles. But a casual fan will also accidentally see Samoa Joe. You look up old CM Punk matches, you're going to see Samoa Joe. Yeah. So people have seen him, and I agree with you. I think him more than any other guy that got sent to NXT, that was wrong. But I also think
I think it made him better, though.
Yeah.
I think it
made Samoa Joe better.
Yes. I think it made him better for the main WWE show.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
So, was that your question more so, Peach? Like, WWE working with other companies?
Well, no, mine was like New Japan, like
specifically.
Yeah.
Well, see, so like there are matches, so when that whole came out, like people were posting matches. I'm not as well versed in New Japan's like history or things like that, so I don't like. Are there matches I want to see? Yeah, I want to see Omega versus Rollins. I think that would blow the roof off the joint. I really don't. I wouldn't mind seeing Styles Omega if they brought back up like the Bullet Club. If you're talking about a main roster triple threat match, you probably should do Balor and Gallows Anderson versus Omega and the Bucks. Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, or you can do Styles with Gallows and Anderson as well.
What you probably get is the Shield Part 3.
I would take the Shield versus...
I was just about to say, that's the thing. That makes more sense as a reboot. It was kind of like when Evolution came and feuded. Now you have the Shield, guys that are considered top guys with WWE forming again to kind of take on these outsiders. So that if you're not sticking with matches you might have seen them wrestle each other before, that would probably be my thing, was the Shield.
Yeah. But like one of the ones was Cena versus Tana Hoshi. That because he's their ace in New Japan, so it'd be ace versus ace. So
Tanahashi has some kind. What's his finisher? Is he the go to sleep or?
No, that's a Hideo
Itami who's in WWE.
Yeah, I need to watch more Tanahashi matches. I haven't watched enough, so I don't really know what his finisher is. I just know that he was like the ace. He's older, like I think he's in his 40s or something like that, but still going.
I know this is the Peach Pit, not the Respass Pit, but Walt, who would you want to see wrestle Okada?
I don't know. That was the one I was thinking of. I don't know who.
Intergender.
Maybe like Daniel Bryan, but I don't know. It depends on what they would do with the Omega and the Bucks. like once that one's determined, because like maybe
all right, let's say my thing happens and it's the
Shield.
Shield against Omega and the Young Bucks.
I don't know. I do not have a good enough answer for that. Because like I don't want to say Nakamura or Styles because I'm pretty sure they've wrestled.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of something new. Like I'd be even excited to get Marty over to like Marty Skrull.
Just avoiding it. All right, Peach, who would you want to see wrestle Okada?
I've never seen Okada wrestle before.
We did a whole episode on 3 of his matches with Omega.
Uh-huh.
You didn't watch even what Walton posted on Facebook?
Did Walton post something on Facebook?
I'm pretty sure didn't you post one of the matches on Facebook leading
Yeah,
into that episode?
Peach, do you like our Facebook page?
I do.
Okay, so that's good.
Did you subscribe to this podcast?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I posted on the Apron Work page. It was Omega Okada week. New Japan released their Dominion 2017 match, the 60-minute draw.
Did you listen to me, Walt, and Jared talk about the matches?
I did.
Okay. Do you have a visual at all about Okada wrestling from
No.
those? Okay.
Let me ask a clarifying question too, Respass. When you say Okada, is it Okada with the shorts or Okada with the pants? Because I want Okada with the pants, not in WWE, because I miss the shorts. But that's just a personal opinion. Probably goes
worrying
over.
about his physique.
Okada with short pants.
Okay, with capris.
Yes.
Okay.
That should be Shawn Michaels' return match.
Oh. He got a haircut now. I don't know if I can take a return match with Shawn Michaels.
Okada, Undertaker.
They both do the tombstone.
Well, there you go.
But isn't Okada more closer to like a cruiserweight?
Maybe. I mean,
Closer than who? He's closer to a cruiserweight than Big Show.
he's closer to a cruiserweight than I am, probably. I mean, that's not saying much.
Okada's pretty big. What? He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
He's pretty big. He's not necessarily a cruiserweight.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna call this a wrap for this episode of Peach Pit. Hey, Respass, I know you're laughing right now. There were a couple good questions.
Oh no. Yeah. You know what, Peach? I apologize. This was your question show. I should have never thrown it back at you, and then I wouldn't be laughing so much. I will tell you that's the title for this week. Isn't Okada a cruiserweight? That's the title.
That's going to be the descriptions.
Yes, that's all over the place. That's hashtagged.
Yeah. So, and I think I sent it to you. But speaking of Okada, Omega Okada 4 got 7 stars by Meltzer.
Yes.
I don't think I'd read that.
7 out of 5.
We have not talked about this. Now, here's the one thing. Somebody asked him a question. We'll since you got on the subject, Walt. Apparently, Meltzer says he never said it was out of 5 stars. He said at no point has he ever told people any of this was out of 5 stars. He made the matches, and whenever he thinks a match is better than those matches, he's going to go higher. I think that's a cop-out. I think he's full of shit. I'm pretty sure it was meant to be 5 stars. And instead of going back and re-ranking every match I ever did, he's going higher. I agree why people are pissed off. But it's also a random guy giving his opinion.
Yeah, that's what
Calm down. You know, I understand it to a point. Stop threatening his family.
His family got threatened?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna do it, and stop saying it on Twitter, people.
Yeah, I might edit that part out. That's.
I was completely kidding.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm sorry. No, but it's his opinion. You know, maybe if you weren't hanging on every word of his, you just wouldn't be so upset about it. But
I like to use Meltzer as a quote, like not as a if there's
Punching
something
bag.
if there's something I haven't watched and he gives it, like the first Omega Okada match, I just kind of read the results on it, but then he's like, this was the greatest match ever, gave it 6 stars. I'm like, all right, I should sit down and watch this. And I did, and it was awesome. And then kind of just from there to where now it got me more into the stories, and there are matches actually in like New Japan I want to watch. Even when he rated the first one where I really took his ratings was Ospreay versus Ricochet in the Best of the Super Juniors. I think it was 2015. Their match, that was one of the first ones. I think he gave that 5 stars, and I was like, I need to watch this match. And that match was, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I had a lot of fun watching them do flippy shit.
I was to say, wasn't that the match that got like a lot of heat from former wrestlers and stuff?
Yeah, that's the one I think Vader threatened Ospreay or something like that.
Yeah. I apologize. Whether or not you edit this out, Walt, and then you can edit this out.
I won't edit it. It's too much work. It's too much work.
I was completely kidding. For the 20-some people who listen to this episode, I was completely kidding.
Good. So
only threaten Walton.
That's fine. So, but we'll leave it at that. So, Peach, any kind of final thoughts? Did we enlighten you today with the information we provided? Like, do you feel like you learned something?
Yeah.
Great response.
Today was
great
more,
response. There we go.
Opinions.
And they're just like assholes, and I'm one of them.
Did you learn that Okada is not a cruiserweight?
Well, no, you guys just laughed.
I
didn't tell me his
he's
weight.
A big guy, you know.
That doesn't fit the cruiserweight staple.
Probably not the weight limit, I would assume.
Oh.
But no, yeah, he's not. He does some shit, not flippy shit.
Yeah, he has the fucking best drop kick in the business.
Yes.
He jumps up like 6.5 feet in the air for a drop kick, and like I'm not even like that's real. But no, well, Peach, I'm glad you learned something. It bothers me that what you learned was that Okada is not a cruiserweight.
Hey, baby steps, all right? This is only episode 15.
It is.
Maybe by 100, you'll learn a little bit more.
That's the goal. That's the goal, to make ourselves better. Respass, you have any final thoughts before we
this
sign
Styles
off?
Nakamura match is pretty brutal.
Yeah. This is probably going to be their best one.
Their last one?
Styles Nakamura on Money in the Bank is currently on. It's the last man standing match.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tie. Anything I have to say?
Any passing thoughts?
Go check out We Podcast and We Know Things at WePodcastandWeKnowThings.com. I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you're at least a bit of a nerd. Even though Walton said he wasn't a nerd earlier, he's lying to himself. So if you're listening to this, their stuff is awesome. I enjoy listening. Video games, movies, TV, wrestling, obviously. So not only go listen to the episode that I was involved in, go listen to all their stuff. It's really good. They have a lot of interviews with band members. If the music is your cup of tea, there's a member from early November, a member from Valencia. They actually go to see, they interview Hawthorne Heights before one of their shows they got invited to. I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, their stuff's great. We podcast and we know things.com. And, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and hopefully, like you said earlier, hopefully on one of the episodes Peachy has to miss, we can get Greg in here and I can learn how to host a podcast.
Yeah, he can literally celebrity host it. And you can be Peachy that week saying yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, I'll fill in that void. So, all right, yeah, I got nothing else either. So I think with that, thank you everybody for listening this week. Thank you for subscribing. All that fun stuff. If you have any comments, I don't think Mike called me out last time, but any comments, anything you guys want to hear, leave them down in any of the comments section. Rate us on iTunes if you really like us. Make fun of me.
Us.
Yeah, make fun of me if you want to.
Share, follow me on Twitter, share, retweet.
Yeah, what's your Twitter handle, Mike? Because I don't think we've ever actually mentioned that on here.
It's well, it actually is on apronworkpodcast.com. I put it at every episode, but it is at apronwork Mike R. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah, I know it's on the post and stuff. I just know we never.
Yeah.
I think we've never actually said it on here.
And check us out on Castbox. I mean, that was news to me. You know what? It was breaking news about our podcast on somebody else's podcast. I had no clue. I mean, he did promote us on Stitcher, and I told him we're not on there. So please, if you listen to that episode, don't find us on Stitcher because we're not there.
Well, I'm going to look into that this week.
Okay. Well, as of right now, while I'm talking about it, we're not on there. So, yeah, check us out on Castbox. Apparently, we're there, and nobody's subscribed to us there yet. So,
I'm gonna check us out.
Maybe it sounds different. Maybe PP talks more on Castbox as opposed to iTunes. You never know. Maybe it might be slightly different.
Maybe I know how have a better command of the English language. Who knows? Nah, it's probably not.
Yeah, I highly doubt it.
Yep. But again, guys, thank you for listening, and until next week, we will see you guys later.